right rear. So they are going to severely try to tighten up this truck for Ricky Hendrick as he now gets the left side tires as well. Great Dunlap.
Well, Amy, it's going to be right side tires for the number 99, and they were real worried about the fact that that fire on the left side may have got that left rear tire too hot, so they're going to do 4 tires here on this pit stop. Nathan said, let's not take any chance with that, and the crew chief said the same thing here, but I believe they had too many men over the wall, and that is why they're being held here on pit road. I'll get back to you on that one.
To the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series official, they're holding them, and that would have been a 15-second penalty for too many over the wall, apparently. So now Nathan Hosley and the Eldon Ford is down and away. Well, we are working the second caution flag today, coming out on lap number 10. Last week's winner, Ricky Hendrick. Jubilation a week ago, right along with Ricky, and let's see what he saw as his GMAC Chevy Silverado headed into turn 3. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, and then suddenly this loose truck, well, gets even looser as he loops it around, and traffic goes by. Ricky misses everything, dodges the bullets. Back to the green in just a moment. Our coverage of exciting NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action from Kentucky Speedway is being brought to you by Mopar. Parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. That's the Mopar difference. By Quikrete Concrete Products. No one makes it easier than Quikrete. And by Purelator. Pure oil now, pure oil later. Let's check in back in the pits quickly in the Riggs pits with Ray.
Well, Jerry, Scott has been on the radio saying he thinks they may have too much rear gear. He's hitting the rev chip about 10 truck lengths before he gets to the corner, and he said with that rear end gear that they chose this weekend, it's going to be awfully tough to beat the 1, the 24, or the 17.
Getting set for the restart. You got to wonder how much of a difference that would make today versus happy hour when he was so quick.
It shouldn't have made much difference because the happy hour yesterday was about the same time it is right now.
Restart here on lap 16. Caution out for 4 laps.
You see him 4 wide again. Willie P. Ribbs on the inside of the 8 truck. Fortunately, they scaled back down to 2 wide.
Yeah. Folks, if you've not seen this racetrack before, it is a gorgeous facility. 1.5 mile, D-shaped oval, very wide, 70 feet wide, 5 lanes, so plenty of racing room to go 3 wide, 4 wide, or heaven forbid, 5 wide. We can see it tonight. But gorgeous facility, banked at 15 degrees over in the turns, 8 degrees on the straightaway, and the front straightaway and back straightaway about 1,600 feet around. So just a fabulous racing facility.
It certainly is. And, you know, I talked to a lot of the guys that ran here last year in the truck race, and they said the thing last year was ultra smooth. But the winter was a little bit tough on this racetrack. The thing has a lot of bumps in it. They tried to grind the racetrack. You see right there, you see the difference in the shading. They tried to grind the racetrack through turn 2 and off turn 2 to make it smoother.
Andy Vertrees, the director of operations here, told me just a little while ago they have the grinders standing by, and tomorrow morning they're going to go out here and grind into turn 3. It's a little bit of a dip in turn 3. They even try to smooth it a little even more smooth than it was. There's just a couple of dips that they've worked on this place constantly.
They sure do.
Great side-by-side action. There's Rick Crawford with the new colors, the anniversary, 50th anniversary for Sawzall. Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford for Rick Crawford. Same truck he qualified second with at Dover early in the year. And he is due for a good finish. They have worked so hard with this team and had some pretty tough luck the last few weeks, particularly at Milwaukee.
That's right. He sure had this truck was awfully good at Dover. He really had a good chance to win that race. Had a little pit miscue, and that took him out of contention.
Rick hasn't had a top 5 finish since Darlington in May, and would love to be able to change that here as you ride along with the Jelly Bellies onboard camera for Jim Englebright. Jim looking to come full-time possibly next year with Jelly Belly Candy Company as a sponsor in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
You can see it right there. There's actually, we have all these trucks have tear-offs on the windshield. So after they get some oil, grease, and grime on them, they can actually peel off a layer of windshield. You see his right there. It's already coming up. So it can be a little disconcerting. But fortunately, it's moving away from him towards the center of the truck. You really only look out of the left side of the windshield on these kind of racetracks.
Jim making his 5th start of the year, coming off his best NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series finish, 14th at Milwaukee. Of course, he won a NASCAR Southwest Series race at Sears Point the weekend before, so he's had a couple of pretty good weeks in both Southwest Series and trucks.
You see him following Brian Rose right there. Again, what you mentioned earlier, this was his best career start. Doing a great job in that truck.
There's the 17 truck coming through the field, and after that spin on lap 10, that's Henry. How about the 60 of Travis Quapple? As you take a look at the rookie points to see where they're running, Quapple back in 17th spot. Actually second overall in rookie points, 15 points behind Ricky Hendrick, who's running 19th. And now Ricky trying to make a move as
Travis showing a lot of patience there. He's trying to get by Ryan McGlynn on the 00 truck, but showing a lot of patience early in the race. He has to show a lot of patience, and he's doing a great job.
Pretty important race for Travis Quapple. Mike Addington, who owns his race team, he's right along with Ricky Hendrick, and look up ahead at Travis. Mike Addington is from Ashland, Kentucky, and his dad Larry is in attendance tonight. They own, of course, Addington Resources, the coal mining industries. They are major sponsors and involved with, of course, owning the 60 truck and the Cat rental team. Would love to see Travis get his first win here at Kentucky Speedway.
Travis is trying to get a little momentum. Look at, you see Terry Cook on the outside there. He's up in the loose stuff.
A little bit of contact between Cook and Ricky Hendrick. Cook gathers it back in, bobbles a little bit in turn 3.
It looked like Terry Cook drove up on the outside of Ricky Hendrick and maybe got Ricky a little bit loose, and that's why Ricky actually went up into Terry.
And there's some damage on the nose on the left front of the 29. The Power Stroke Diesel Ford for Terry Cook. Place wasn't very kind to Terry a year ago. He had a good qualifying run last year, started 10th, but ended up finishing 35th. Had an incident early on. Of course, he was driving for Duke Thorson back then, but his second race of 6 with Power Stroke Diesel on board as a sponsor. You can see a little bit of damage in the left front. Moving in on lap 25 of 150, which make up the Kroger 225 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action from Kentucky Speedway. New Hampshire International Speedway is gearing up for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The mile track has seen some great battles throughout its 5-year history with the trucks, but it's the rookies who have found success here. Andy Houston battled Greg Biffle and celebrated his first Craftsman Truck Series victory in 1998. Then last year, Kurt Busch scored his second of 4 wins on the season. The question is, can a rookie win again? We'll find out next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern Time for the New England 200 up at Bob and Gary Bear's Great Place, New Hampshire International Speedway. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action exclusively on the worldwide leader ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. There's the leader, Ted Musgrave, in the Mopar Dodge. Same Dodge he won with at Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago. Winningest driver this year in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series competition. 4 wins, 3 in the first 5 starts of the year. Homestead, Mesa Marin, which is Bakersfield, and Gateway in St. Louis.
See Jack Sprague right on Ted Musgrave's bumper. Ted had opened up a little bit of a lead, got into a little bit of traffic, and got slowed down, allowed Jack Sprague to catch right up.
Might mention the rules this week. They did not have the 390 carburetors on board. They've gone back to the 830 carburetors. No cold air box and no cold air induction. And they've increased the spoilers here. Wayne Alton and the guys trying to make sure this race is safe, considering the speeds are some 6 miles an hour faster than Kansas Speedway last week. Up the spoilers to 8 inches and the minimum angle to 65 degrees.
Yeah, Doc, and they're also going to do that on all the racetracks over a mile. They talked about doing that to an 8-inch tall spoiler, 65-degree minimum angle.
390 carburetor, by the way, coming back in California and Texas, if not before. They're still contemplating some rules changes here to be able to increase the engine life and try to cut down on some of the engine cost. How about an update from the Sprague pits with Ray Dunlap?
Well, Jerry, we've seen a number of circumstances where Jack Sprague has had problems this year with engines, and tonight they have a small problem already. There is no oil pressure gauge on his dash. He said it just completely went to 0, but that was right at the start of the race, so they don't think it's an engine problem yet. But if there is an oil temperature problem later tonight, they're not going to know about it.
Well, drivers don't look at those kind of gauges anyway, Ray, so it really doesn't much matter.
How much do you look? How much can you afford to look at a gauge?
Well, you have time. Like right now, Jack Sprague has plenty of time. He's got a pretty long straightaway there. He's following Ted Musgrave. He has time, but I think you would look at the water temperature. He would look at the water temperature some. That would be the only gauge that I would actually look at was the water temperature, because you have to keep an eye on that, because you kind of guess somewhat and how much tape to put in the front end, which controls how much air you take through the radiator. You get a good feel for it in happy hour, but sometimes you get cut short of happy hour and the temperature will change the next day. So that's the only gauge really I ever keep an eye on.
I asked Jack Sprague, I said, what is left to happen to you? You've led the most laps in the last 4 consecutive races and not one. He said, I'm watching the sky for a meteor shower. I mean, anything. This poor guy just has had rotten luck.
Battle for third right there. Coy Gibbs on the inside passing Joe Ruttman. This is, as you mentioned, this is his favorite truck, and he's doing a great job with it right now. Passes Joe Ruttman for the 3rd position.
Finished 5th in this truck. Talking about the MB&A Chevrolet now for Coy. Finished 5th at Dover, 5th at Memphis. Got a 7th place finish here.
They pick up a big push behind you. Just concentrate on your line.
Listening to Curtis Markham, a great driver in his own right, who's a driver, coach, and spotter for Coy Gibbs.
Last week, he had an untimely pit stop. Actually had a pit stop, and then the caution came out for Coy Gibbs. Put him a lap down, ended up finishing in 10th spot. So he had his 5th top 10 finish of the year. Finished 9th, I should say, last week. Had his 5th top 10 finish of the year, but moved him back into the top 10 in the points. So he comes into this race tonight 10th in the points. I'll tell you, the folks at MB&A, I'm told, have been very impressed with the effort of this team, Gary Showalter and this team this year for Coy Gibbs.
They put out a tremendous effort. They test all the time. They'll go to, the Truck Series is not allowed to test, but they'll go to Lakeland, Florida to test, or Greenville, South Carolina, or Asheboro, North Carolina. There's some of the racetracks that other racetracks that the Craftsman Truck Series doesn't run on. So they really do a great job. They really work at it, and now the dividends are paying off.
There have been 6 rookies who have won in the history of NASCAR Craftsman truck competition. Of course, Gibbs is not a rookie, but really getting his first full season this year and in the series, driving for his dad. Last week's a winner. Ricky Hendrick, the 6th different rookie to win. Travis Quapple also looking to win. Everyone said it would be Travis or Ricky. Ricky or Travis. Each week they were saying one of these guys is going to win. Who's going to be the first one to win? And it could have been either one last week.
We had 5 rookies in the top 5 finishers last week at Kansas.
Well, it should not be surprising that Coy Gibbs, son of 3-time Super Bowl champion Joe Gibbs, credits a total team effort for his recent improvement on the racetrack. He's the subject of this week's One to Watch.
A lot of it has to do with just Gary Showalter. We're getting the history together. We're working together, getting a lot of things ironed out. And then the motor program, just coming around and doing in-house motors, I just think that helped a lot. We have total control over everything right now. The bodies, the chassis, the motors. So I just think it gives me more confidence when we go to the track.
Former linebacker at Stanford University, played all 4 years there, was a Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Week, I think, as a sophomore out there with a big game. Great athlete, doing a pretty good job here in his first full year in NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series. There's his one. You see he's 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s. Best finished 5th twice at Dover and Memphis. Finished 19th here at Kentucky last year. How about a proud papa? There is Joe Gibbs watching his son race and having a great effort here as he currently sits 3rd at Kentucky Speedway. NASCAR action, Craftsman Truck Series style, exclusively on the Worldwide Leader here at ESPN. Glad to have you with us. There's a great battle. Randy Tolsma, his best qualifying effort since Texas, starting 9th in the Ambusher Chevrolet.
He's about to get ambushed by Jim Engelbright in a Jelly Belly truck.
That is 9th and 10th. That's Tolsma in the Team Renzi, owned by Ed and Sam Renzi. And then there's Engelbright. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, makes the move inside of Tolsma.
Randy drove it down in the corner, but whoa. Great save by Jim Engelbright right there. Had a little contact coming up turn 4, looked like, but Randy was able to save the truck.
Engelbright's 5th start of the year, finished 15th at Mason Moran.
Back in a rhythm. We'll go get him.
29th at Gateway, 26th at Pikes Peak, and 14th at Milwaukee.
Yeah, it was. It looked pretty cool. He did a great job.
Show you what happened. Here it comes side by side off turn 4. Almost no contact. Jim thought he was going to get up into Randy, so he just turned the thing left, but that caught it. Only lost 1 position.